Welcome back to Fantasy Poolies Footy Show. This episode is brought to you, as always, by Addison Albert Luxury Events. And if you're planning a wedding, a religious ceremony, or any corporate event, feel free to hit them up. Check out their Instagram. Not Instagram.
Don't check out that.
Don't check out the Instagram. Check out the Instagram. Head over, hit them up for anything you need. Now, let's get into it, guys. The Champions League semifinals were, I'm going to call it absolute chaos. Inter and Barca gave us controversy. PSG and Arsenal gave the Arsenal fans pain. And VAR gave us, Pena, what did VAR give us?
Depression.
I was going to say nothing at all, but depression is a good way to put it.
It caused me, I need to go see a therapist, I think, and stare at a ceiling and talk about this.
I thought VAR was great.
No, fantastic. Yeah, buddy, I need a lot of things, but I can't say them on the podcast.
You got a broom, though.
Yeah, a really good, freaking heavy-duty broom. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm in the middle of a move, so I don't even know if this is going to be my permanent podcast station. I'm on a kitchen island, sitting on a chair made for a garden gnome. I don't know what's happening, but had to
good
jump
for
on the
me.
pod.
As always, I'm Loms, he's Luca, he's Pena. If you haven't already, subscribe. Make sure you don't miss an episode, whatever podcast platform you're listening on, or on YouTube. Make sure you give us a like, follow, send us your DMs, questions. You know, we're always here. We love the love, so make sure you keep interacting with us. So let's start in Milano, guys. The first leg at the Camp Nou ended in chaos because we didn't record last week. We got a little tied up with life. We apologize. We've been tied up with life here. Why did we miss last week? I can't remember.
Pena was moving.
Pena was moving, and Luca was coaching until 1:30. And
you guys tried to diss me. They tried to take me off the podcast, and I get it. Like, I'm a role player, right? I understand who I am in the podcast, but like, you need a role player still.
Yeah.
No, you're a first line guy. You're a first line guy. If we're going hockey here,
I'm a role player.
You're a first line.
You know what?
guy.
I want to say I'm like, Çalhanoğlu. Like, need me?
Çalhanoğlu's not a role player, though.
No, I know that. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you need me.
You're
not a
Dumfries.
role player.
You're
a little more vital, but like, I'll fly under the radar sometimes. You know?
Okay. So we missed last week. So the first leg not at the Camp Nou, sorry, at whatever they call that temporary stadium there, ended in chaos, 3-3 shootout. The return leg I would classify it as an absolute classic. So on Tuesday at the San Siro, Inter edged Barcelona 4-3 after extra time, sealing a 7-6 aggregate win in one of the most dramatic semifinals in recent memory. Lautaro opened the scoring. Çalhanoğlu added a beauty, but Barca roared back with goals from Pena's boy, Dani Olmo, and Rafinha. And at 3-2 down, Inter looked done and out. And who saves them, guys? None other than, of course, Acerbi. Because when in doubt, in the last minutes, what do? You put the center back up top. You put Franco up top. And Acerbi bundle, he buried one, forcing extra time. Then came the decider, and who else but Clutch? Like, he's got to get like a Clutch. He's got to sign with Clutch. Isn't that like who's
Clutch Sports?
Clutch Sports. He's got to sign with them. Who is that?
Rich Paul.
He's Davide Fratesi strike in the 116th minute that blew the roof off of the San Siro. Still can't believe Rick didn't go, to be honest with you. But that wasn't the whole story. A penalty overturned for Barca, a handball by Acerbi that wasn't called, a foul by Dumfries in the build-up to the equalizer, maybe. Barcelona, and, they're calling it robbery. Inter, they're calling it grinta. Let's talk about it. Did Inter deserve, or did Barca get robbed? Are we just dealing with crybaby Barca here as normal, or... Let's jump into it. Pena, out of respect, it's your team. We tried to get Rick on this episode, but we just got a statement through his lawyer that said, his lawyer being him, that said, I appreciate the invitation, but unfortunately I'll have to decline. So did Inter deserve to progress, or did Barca get robbed?
Yeah, what's called. Rick is having lunch with the VAR guy on Bay Street right now, so that's why he couldn't make it here. So listen.
Where are they, though? Like, where
I'll
on
discuss, they're at Cactus Club, I think. Listen, I'll discuss the game before we discuss the VAR. Inter deserved to go to the final, and Barca deserved to go to the final. Both teams were absolutely unbelievable. one of the best ties that I can remember. 3-3 over in both games. I don't think it's ever happened. So wicked from both teams. Obviously, I'm not a neutral. I'm sure for you guys, as well, you guys are Juventino, so maybe it was somewhat neutral. For the neutral fan, they must have just been at home just laughing at what was happening in the game because the goals were fantastic. Lamine, otherworldly performance in both legs. Just some quality football on both ends. So that's what I'll start off with. Barella, wicked. Lautaro, Thuram were insane. Like how was Lautaro injured 6 days ago? Like what a performance.
Did you see his post-game interview?
No, what did he
He
say?
said he cried for 2 days and he didn't answer his mother's phone calls
because he
because
he
thought he wasn't going to be part of it. He was doing double medical sessions every day to be able to make the game. But he was I'm actually getting goosebumps saying he was crying for 2 days. He said he cried in his apartment or his house or his home.
Probably his penthouse.
Probably his penthouse.
Wow.
But
with Agustina.
yeah, I mean, not a bad person to cry with at the end of the day.
Not a bad person to cry on her lap.
But no, it's highly recommend for our Italian viewers out there. I was watching the Sky Sport Uno feed and all the post game interviews, but Lautaro's was amazing. Like he was so emotional at the end of the game, saying how he worked so hard and actually I would say the common theme throughout all the post game interviews were they all like almost the first people that they shouted out were the medical staff, because of all the injuries and what they had
and
to
the
do.
needles.
Then the not the wrist bandages, though.
Yeah. Wow. I think you want to know who Inter's doctor is? Yannick Sinner's doctor.
No, Yannick is a Milanista.
No, Yannick Sinner, I think his doctor was injecting everyone with the muscle cream. That's why everyone made it on time for the games. Yeah. And then somehow Barcelona's guys, somehow no one made it back. So our medical staff is wicked. Somehow Balde has nursed a soft tissue injury for a month and then Lautaro was ready in 6 days. So,
but the Barca medical doctor passed away. Like that was mid-season, right? We talked about it before. So, like,
so it plays a factor for sure. It plays a factor. But I'll say this: the South American player is a little bit different than the European player for that aspect. Like, if it comes down to taking an injection that might hurt you later on, or it comes down to doing something that you have to do in order to play, the South American player is more worthy to actually do that than the European player.
That's racist.
No, but it's true. Like,
he's right.
Look at Luis Suarez. Like the guy can't even walk now.
I'm kidding. I'm just beaking you.
Yeah, like the guy can't even walk now. Why? Because every single summer he'd go for a knee scope and he'd go for like a cleanup and he'd go for an injection. When everyone told him you need to get a surgery, like you need to miss a season, and he was like, no, just scope it, clean it up, inject me. I'll keep playing. Now he can't even bend his knee.
Yeah.
So
Lautaro's one of the best captains in the world.
Lautaro's wicked.
I hate to say it.
Yeah. No.
He's unreal. And they
what
love
a leader.
him.
Like,
yeah.
What a leader.
Works.
So listen, in terms of the game, like both teams were unbelievable. So that's why it just hurts me as a Barca fan that it ends the way that it does. Because we've all played at a high level our entire life. I've played striker my whole life. That Dumfries play is a foul 100 times out of 100.
It's not. It's actually not.
Why not?
Because the video you see is fake. The real video, he gets him a little bit on his shin, not on his foot. He gets him on his shin. I promise you, I saw the video again.
Yeah. He
gets him on his shin, and Pedri is not falling. It's then he falls after he kicks Dumfries.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, I swear to God.
It's still obstruction. It's a foul.
It's not a foul. It's way too soft to be a foul. I agree that VAR wasn't right, but that wasn't the issue. The issue is a Cherby handball, 100%. I could agree fully. I could also agree that the Yamal one is very close, and I don't think should be overturned. Because he calls a PK, it should stay PK. Yeah. So I do think those two issues, but I promise you, if you don't look at the Alex Pena video where the guy's foot is 73.
He makes contact with his leg. So you're telling me he makes contact with his leg?
With his shin, and
to get the ball.
But it's not from it. But that's not what makes him fall.
What Lucas saying is it's because
it doesn't make him fall.
It's obstruction. The Barcelona player is going to win the ball. and then Dumfries hits
no,
him.
because
And the
gotta
Dumfries
see
Barcelona
it.
player's
You gotta
foot
see
is
it.
off the ball.
It's way too soft, and he's not going to fall from it. He falls because he recognizes that he's lost the ball, so he kicks Dumfries after him.
Okay, but VAR called a PK that was also soft.
That-
Not involved
now you're going to a
on
different
soft.
thing. Don't
Okay,
get
but
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. If you're going to get involved on soft things and call a PK that wasn't called a PK on the field, then you cannot allow that goal to be a game-tying goal. You cannot allow it because it's a foul. By the letter of the law, Dumfries fouls Martin
No,
Fernandez.
it's not actually because he doesn't make him fall. It's not enough.
No, but it doesn't matter about making him fall. He hits him on the chin. It's a foul.
Barely though. You have to see it. He barely gets
But
it.
if he hits him on the chin, it's a foul. Because he doesn't play the ball.
No. Because then you can't tell we play basketball.
And then the guy falls face first and his foot
No,
goal.
And he falls from
because
kicking.
what Luca's
Dumfries.
saying, I think what Luca's saying is, because I haven't seen the video that Luca's talking about, but if anyone wants to help us out, we could always use a producer, somebody who could drop a video in like right now. This would be very helpful. But I think what you're saying is that guy's going for the ball with his foot, and then
Yes.
Dumfries is also going for
The
the ball.
slightest
with
of
his
contacts can affect you there. It doesn't matter what the contact is.
Hold on.
I agree, but it's not enough for a
Both
foul.
going for the ball at the same time. Dumfries
Dumfries
just
is not going for the ball.
and that guy kicks Dumfries. Dumfries
Is not going
That's what
for the
makes him
ball.
fall.
Dumfries is not going for the ball. Dumfries is going to make contact with his leg because he knows that he's not going to win the ball.
He's trying to get
Yeah.
position, Dumfries.
Dumfries was behind him while
Yeah.
Martin's about to take the ball.
He's trying to get position. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, watch the replay. I agree with you on the other ones. That one for me is never a foul. I would lose it.
Yamal, the PK is ridiculous to overturn it. And then the one part that I don't understand is
I agree.
I spoke with so many people that have played soccer their entire life and don't know the laws of the game. That's another hilarious thing to me. I kept getting people telling me like, yeah, but the initial contact is outside the box. I go,
Yeah.
the initial contact doesn't matter. It's where the foul ends. When Mkhitaryan slides, so the initial contact is his foot.
Is outside,
that
yeah.
hits him.
Yeah.
But then his slide continues and his shin hits Yamal in the heel, and that is 1,000% in the box.
So here's the official wording. I put this in our group. Here's the official wording from the Laws of the Game 2024. Law 12, fouls and misconduct under the section advantage and offenses continuing outside inside the penalty area. If a player commits an offense outside the penalty area and continues inside the penalty area, the referee awards a penalty kick. This principle is based on the continuation of an offense. If the foul is not a single momentary act, but instead persists as the defender and attacker move into the box, it falls under this clause.
Yeah,
So based on that, Luca, non-biased, although we hate Inter, is it a penalty or is it not a penalty?
So here's my thing. Because he calls a penalty, it must remain a penalty. I don't think there's enough there to overturn it, and it has to be clear to overturn it. So I don't think he should have called PK originally, and I think it would have stayed outside the box because I'm not sure the contact is enough, the second one, but because he calls PK, it has to stay PK. So
No,
that's
but
why I
he
think
falls because of the second contact, not the first trip. Like he rides the first challenge, and then it's the knee on the heel that actually drops him. So it's a PK.
I think it stays PK. It should stay PK. I think it's crazy.
So
It's
that's
a
what I'm
Polish
saying.
ref. He was the ref for Atletico when they got eliminated Inter and Man City finals. So obviously he was going to give them one.
Like, but
But
like it's like
it was a weird kit. Did you see the kit that the referee was wearing that game?
Oh, what was it?
Like it was so weird for a ref. Like I've never seen. You didn't see the kit that he was wearing?
What was it? Oh, those are the new Nikes. Those are the new.
yeah.
You guys.
That's precisely what he was wearing in the game. No, but yeah, it's just painful to lose like that. Obviously, you get two pens that are overturned, and they get a pen. Listen, in the end, you're allowed to take off jerseys and give like truthful analysis when you speak sports. I know that us as men have a tough time doing that. I think the Lautaro one was a PK. Is it soft as fuck? Absolutely. Like. And then again, there's another thing. Like people saying like it's not a PK because Lautaro's looking for it. Like where in the laws of the game is that a rule?
I love that one.
Yeah, it's like so what? So Lautaro's a brilliant striker who's really smart and sees that the tackle's coming, and he purposely puts his foot there to force contact. So that's not a PK because he's looking for it. You know how many times I've been looking for a PK in my life? Like it's just it's the reality of it that. He knew, shit, he caught me. I'm not
Yeah.
going to score this. Like, let me see if I can
I
draw
just got to put
PK.
my body in front.
Yeah, let
me
me
and
put
you,
my
me
body in
and you
front.
have done that our whole careers.
My
Put
whole
our body in front to take a foul.
I've drawn
Remember
30 PKs
futsal?
like that
Remember
minimum.
futsal when they were on 4 or 5 fouls? Me and you would just do the dribble and put our body in front.
You do a dribble and just stop and then fall just on your clavicle. Just fall straight on your clavicle and then force the ref into calling it, pretty much. That's what Lautaro did. So, again, I'm obviously biased because I'm a Barca fan, but like when I watched the replay, I was like, oh, he's going to call PK
Yeah.
because he hits his foot. But this is what I'm saying. Like the referee in the game didn't call the PK. And I don't think that's like a stonewall PK where the VAR should get involved.
You don't?
If that's a Premier League game, there'd be 14 pens every game.
I know, but he goes through his foot. Like
He does go through his foot, but like barely. But then he does and he gets the ball too. It's like
but it's foot first.
It's like
Lautaro
bang,
is
bang.
10 out of 10 there. That is the most brilliant play from a
Yeah.
striker. That one I think is impossible.
Like I would be arguing for the PK if I was on the other end.
Yeah.
But then in a game where you didn't call an NBA player block in the box, you call that PK? Like come on.
But sometimes you need to make a glove save.
Like it's like how does the VAR look at
Deep glove side. I know this.
Yeah. How does VAD or VAR? VAD. Why did I say VAD? How does VAR look at the Acerbi handball, not get involved, and then look at the Lautaro challenge and get involved?
Does it hit any part of his body?
No.
That's the only thing that I'm thinking here. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
It's
biased.
like right
The
here.
only thing I'm thinking is like, did it maybe like
No.
graze his
Yes.
this part right? Look out! What's up?
Yeah, we got it.
Graze like
No.
this part right
No.
here.
No.
That's the only thing because I'm trying to look at it from the ref's perspective. And I'm like, okay, why didn't they call this right?
Correct. But we haven't seen an angle that shows that it does hit him somewhere else. So
It
that's
hits
why
him in-
I'm saying it's PK.
But I also, like I
hits him
said,
right
I
here.
watched it on Sky
So like
Sport
it's
Uno.
close to his chest, but it does hit him in the arm first.
Yeah.
But like I said, I watched it on Sky Sport Uno, and there was not a lot of replays shown of that one.
Because you
so,
know that
like,
it's a PK.
I was like,
obviously.
oh, okay, because I wanted to see more replays, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, they're not showing this.
Yeah. No, but
Lou,
like that's a PK. Like that's a PK.
Lou,
100%.
let's shift gears here. We
what?
let Pena go. Not off Inter and Barca, but we let Pena go first. I want to shift gears because I want to unfortunately give Inter some flowers as well because I can't remember what the stat was, but I think they led over the two ties for
6
a
minutes.
crazy amount. How much?
6 minutes. Barcelona led by.
Barcelona led by 6 minutes. So
For 6 minutes, yeah.
for 6 minutes. So Inter led for most of the two legs. You know, obviously classic 7-6 on aggregate. Either team could have progressed, but like, how did Inter, especially in the second leg, because we saw how much trouble they were having with with Yamin in the first leg with DiMarco Yamin, which Pena had called back on our preview. That was going to be a trouble matchup for them, as well as calling shout out to Pena on the Dumfries being a crazy.
Pena's getting a lot of love for Dumfries. I mentioned Dumfries first, eh?
But so my question to you, Lou, is how did Inter get this done, and how did they lead for all that time over two legs?
What did we talked about the most about these teams? We talked about transition football, right? Talked about sitting and transitioning properly. And I think, I hate the Barca fans who call it anti-football. How are you going to give Rafinha and Lamine Yamal space? Have you watched those two play soccer?
No.
It doesn't make sense, those two. Yamal does not make sense. He's from another planet. I know all you Barca fans are sad, but what are you sad about? Your future is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It is I watch them and I go, this guy is unstoppable. And I hate Spain. I hate Barca. I say it here right now. But man, it's scary. But Inter did a great job. I mean, you saw what Inzaghi said after the first leg. He said, the guy is, I've never seen a player like this in 8 to 9 years because we're trying to triple team him and he's still getting away. Because even the goal in the first leg, it's kind of a broken play, but it's still tight in that area. He has that shot. It's like a snapshot. He almost like wrists it. It goes right away.
He's like Joe Sakic.
It really is. It really is. He has like a soccer wrist shot.
He's like Joe Sakic.
He doesn't need to get it out of his feet to strike. Like it could be right in his feet, and he does that little one. But I thought Inter was organized. Was amazing in transition and took the most of their chances. Let's be real, because in the second leg, I thought they had some opportunities. In the first leg, really they had three or four opportunities and made the most of three of them. But they were clinical. I give them a lot of credit. And I know we were Pena's on about DeMarco, but I thought he did a great job considering, because you saw what Carlos Augusto did when he came in, because he was on Barcelona for
They did a much better job containing him in the second leg.
yeah.
There's no one in the world right now that can defend that kid.
No one. So like, it's not a knock on DeMarco because he's unreal.
But
And
I just
you think
knew that
DeMarco and Bastoni, right?
DeMarco-
We talked about Bastoni would have to get over too on that side.
But I just knew that, like, if DeMarco was ever in a one-on-one pocket against him, he would have no chance. Like, but there's not many players in the world that would have a chance. Like, he's ridiculous one-on-one. No, but they were like at a point where it turned 2-2. They were filtering 4 guys to his side. Taremi was even dropping.
What a game, by the way.
Yeah,
Shout
we
out.
gotta apologize.
Taremi,
All three of us.
We chirped a lot. Yeah,
We
what
have
a
to
performance from
apologize.
him.
We have to say sorry.
He got his first 7 voto of the year. I've had him on my
for
front
sure.
Calcio
Yeah.
team all year.
Because
But
I think he
unreal
got,
game.
you want to know what? I think he also got a Yannick Sinner injection for this game. So.
He wasn't hurt. He wasn't hurt.
No, but it doesn't
Well,
matter. He
just
just
a
took
goal.
it because he was playing so bad that he wanted to try something new.
Yeah.
But no, there was a time where I'm sure there's a photographer that has a picture of it. There was a time where there was literally 4 guys like in like a wall, like just like trying to be like, can you just lay the ball backwards? Please don't go forward. Like I've obviously seen Messi defended like that, but I've never seen any other player in the world defended like that. And to say that the kid is 17 is very scary. Like very, very scary.
You guys want to hear something?
Yeah.
At 17 years old, Lamine Yamal, 100 games, 22 goals, 33 assists. CR7, 19 games, 5 goals, 4 assists. Messi, 9 games, 1 goal, 0 assists.
Yeah, no. So I've said this already, and I still don't think he's going to be Messi. So I'll start off by prefacing that. I don't think we'll ever see a player like Messi while we're alive, maybe. I could be wrong. But at 17 years old, he is the best player that we've ever seen.
Yeah. Fair.
At 17 years old. Like if you compare everyone at 17,
Other than Antonio Cassano at Bari.
like the only like in terms
That's
of
a
like
joke, by the way.
talent, the only other one that I would say is like a Neymar. But Neymar was doing it in Brazil, so like it kind of doesn't count. But when I used to watch Neymar at Santos, I used to just chuckle because it was like, oh my god, he's rainbowing guys. Like, what's this guy doing? So I have the same feeling, Lamine, as I did Neymar, where it was like, oh, this kid's gonna be a big, big, big problem. Like, obviously Neymar liked to.
Who's
was
that?
something that was-
Pelé did this.
Mike
Pelé
Club.
did this for Brazil at 17.
Sorry,
Pelé did this for Brazil at 17.
Pelé. Obviously, different era. Pelé won a World Cup at 17. So
He won a Euros.
yeah, but
I mean-
yeah, he won a Euro at 16. But Pelé won a World Cup at 17, and again, the history of the game is the history of the game. That Brazil team was nuts. Like, okay, Pelé was obviously the leader behind it, but they had Jairzinho, Garrincha, like these are all of the best, and they also played club ball at Santos, so no one would leave. Imagine right now if like all the best players in Spain all played on Barcelona, and then they just go. Well, it did happen, and they won Euro, World Cup, Euro, pretty much. Like imagine everyone plays club soccer all year long, then they go directly into an international tournament, and they play in an international tournament. So that Brazil team is nuts.
On this, like, I guess we're in like a mini, GOAT talk and all that sort of stuff. I like something that Del Piero said in the pregame, because they asked him about Yamin and Messi, and the comparisons are obviously because they played for Barcelona. Both they played and play for Barcelona. They're going to continue forever. But Del Piero said, let's just stop comparing across eras. Like, I don't like those comparisons. Like, it's not
of that.
it's not right. Like, they are their own players, and every era is different. So, let's just enjoy. This kid's going to be here for a while, it looks like. Let's just enjoy it. And if I go back to that question on, because I want to talk a bit about Inter here. Like, to me, how did they get it done? Like, 3 things. 1, Dumfries. 2, Sommer was absolutely incredible. And 3, I want to talk about their team spirit. this is what it takes no matter what level of footy you're playing, whether it's U14 OPDL or the Champions League semifinals. This is what it takes to win and to get things done. Davide Fratesi was heavily linked to leave Inter in January. That guy could be a starter on arguably every other Serie A team in the league. But he stayed, he buys in, he's got his role, came off the bench, and he sends them to the Champions League finals. So their team spirit, Acerbi, a guy who, is open about how, he was down in the dumps, struggling with alcoholism when he was at Milan, got released by Milan, went to Sassuolo, testicular cancer. Like, this guy has overcome everything, reinvented his whole life. He said cancer saved him. He said cancer saved him because it gave him a new perspective on life and it got him away from drinking and had him focus on his career again. So to me, the three things that got Inter to the finals are Dumfries was incredible over 2 legs. I think it was 2 games, 2 goals, 3 assists, if I'm not mistaken, or 3 goals, 2 assists, one or the other.
It was unbelievable.
And then you have Summer was absolutely insane. Like, some of those saves he was making were incredible. And then just their team spirit. And this is their cycle. Like, if you look at the final that they made a few years ago in Istanbul, there's only 3 starters in this 11 from this game that are different. No, 3 starters that are different. Thuram,
he's world class, eh?
Yeah.
Thuram, Summer,
Another decent one.
and one more that I forget.
Because Onana was the goalie, right?
And Onana, sorry. Yeah, Onana was the goalie, which, by the way,
Summer.
they sold him for 55 million and they bought Summer for
6.
5. So I think that was okay business.
Decent business.
I said 3 things that got it done. A fourth would be Inzaghi, because we had talked about as a group in the preview, do not underestimate him. And man, there was one of our best videos, 70,000 views on TikTok. The amount of Barcelona people coming at us about how Inter couldn't. Guys, this is footy. This is what gets it done. So,
but yeah, that's
hats off to them.
Yeah. I just want to latch on one thing with Lombardo, and this is for the kids out there listening. Like, you talk about sacrificing, right? Sacrificing for your teammates, and you see that from Inter, right? You see a group that loves each other and cares for each other. And we talk about our winning teams in the past. That's what we had. And you try to teach that culture. It's impossible because the kids these days, it's all about themselves. It's their ego and it's all about me, right? And that's my lesson of the day, that you have to sacrifice for one another. And I wish the culture in Canada changed a little bit. You look at the end, when DeVries wins that tackle and they all celly with him. Like, you see that in Europe, and I'm sure you guys, Loms, I'm sure you saw it in Italy all the time. Here, like, our defender wins it and it's whatever, right? He should win it. There's never that celebration with the goal.
But hold on, I said it in our group. Summer makes that insane save on Yamin.
And Bastoni.
And Bastoni's going crazy, and Summer's just, I'm like, can I get a celly? Like you're never
Bastoni is selling it. Yeah. Bastoni is like this. Yeah.
But Summer was just like, usually, I don't know, maybe I remember Buffon. I'm nostalgic. When Buffon would make a save, he would selly it like it was a goal, that a striker would score a goal, basically, right?
And Chiellini and Bonucci would hug him. It'd be a make-up session.
No, it's but this is why footy is the best sport in the world, and this is why I disliked the Barcelona fans. Anti-football, like they hung from the crossbars. They had 29% of the ball over 2 legs. Blah 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 blah.
Possession doesn't matter anymore. Possession doesn't matter anymore.
On amazing teams, pretty much my whole life. Obviously, we've had the ball a lot on teams that I've played. That's not the sport. Like, there's multiple ways to play this sport. There's multiple ways to win in this sport.
Yep.
So, but listen, for me, I prefer the Barcelona way. I'm a fan of Barcelona. On most of the teams that I played, I prefer that way of footy. But I'm not here saying.
Can I ask you a question?
Can I ask you a question? Inter plays is wrong, because it's not wrong.
No.
Like, what do those Barcelona fans want Inter to do? Go out, high press them, leave a 3-on-3 with Lamine Yamal. Like, you have to defend like that. It's the only way. You got to try and suck Barcelona, which they did brilliantly, suck all the center backs up. Barcelona gets all excited, committing numbers forward.
You play with your high line.
give the ball away. Barcelona's going to have the high line. Let's just get them in behind.
Yeah.
And listen, is it the most beautiful footy in the world? No. There were times where Inter couldn't make literally 3 passes in a row for 30 minutes.
But Inter doesn't play like this regularly.
Yeah.
No.
Inter does not play like this. Inter recognizes this is Barcelona.
Yeah,
I have to do
play
this.
like against Barcelona. You have to.
Can I ask you a question though, as a Barca fan? Looking, obviously, hindsight's 2020, Monday morning quarterback, whatever you want to call it. Is this a little bit on Flick though? Like, he was a little bit stubborn, I think, towards the end of that game with that high line. Like, you're up 3-2. Like, to me, and I've watched Italian soccer my entire life since I was a kid. I watch it more than the Prem, still to this day. For better or for worse, that's the footy I watch the most. In Italy, you're winning 3-2 with 10 minutes left. There's a 747 parked in front of the box. So to me, he was a little bit stubborn there not to adjust and be like, hey, let me not do this high line for the next 10 minutes just to get to Munich.
Rob, you are spot on. You couldn't be more right there. And it's wild. As a coach, as a soccer coach, I can't stomach that. And I bring my 08s. My 08s, they play free-flowing football. They're a lot like Barcelona. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it's true. Winning 3-2 in Kingston. I was with Loms at TFC game. My fullbacks are bombing forward. For what? To go forward too? And they catch you in transition. It'll always hurt you. Just stay organized. Stay organized. Surely you could defend for 5 minutes, Barca. Surely you could defend.
No,
and that is on Flick.
Yeah. So he lives and dies by it. Like obviously I'm watching the game and I'm like, where are the fullbacks going? Where are the midfielders going? Like, what are we doing here? Right? Like, if you play footy at a high level, you understand, like, the game's done. It's won. Like, now all we have to do is defend, and we've won the game. We already scored the goal. I don't understand. Then, why was the sub Lewandowski? That's the question that has to be asked over all this. We score the goal to go up 3-2.
Yeah.
The sub is not Christensen. The sub is Lewandowski. Like, what are we doing putting him on?
I was going to say set pieces, but Christensen's an animal.
Put Christensen on.
Yeah.
And then, so he had 3 total subs. So this is my issue with Flick. Listen, he's an amazing coach. He's turned us around. Yeah. He bought no players. And we weren't supposed to be in this position with all of our issues with money. So the fact that we look like we could win a league, win a cup, and almost win a treble is all credit to Flick. But he had 3 subs. It was the 88th minute. You are winning the game 3-2.
You got to kill the game there.
There is no way that the sub is Lewandowski. What the sub is Christensen. Play a line of 5, whatever the heck you want to do, get Christensen on the field. If the worst scenario happens where Inter ties it while you had Christensen on, then you make the Lewandowski sub. Because you still have 2 subs. And he has the window when you go into extra time. So it didn't make any sense that Lewandowski.
At the very least, you could do both of them.
Or just put both. Like, yeah. I don't know why it was Lewandowski and Christensen just, like, no defensive reinforcement. Even if it was a defensive midfielder, something had to come in that game to close out the game.
It's because the Dutch are stubborn. That's why. The Dutch will always live and die by their way, right?
So, yeah. So that was an issue for me. And, like, if you actually look at the still shot of the Inter counterattack, it's a straight 4-on-4.
That's wild.
You're winning the game 3-2. It's the 93rd minute. And you have a half field 4-on-4. You cannot reason with me or give me an explanation of how that's acceptable.
However, hear me out. And I know you're going to agree with me.
On that play.
You're going to agree with, that's true. You're going to agree with me. 2010 UBC National Finals. Did Carm have to tell you and the team to sit?
No.
We went up 1-0, and what did you do naturally?
We went up 1-0, and I played striker by myself and drew fouls for what?
74
minutes. Yeah, for 77 minutes.
This is my point.
Is there an argument to be made that Lamine should have came off? Like, they're up 3-2.
No, because of overtime.
I've heard this one also, which I don't know how I feel about it. People were saying that Lamine shouldn't have gone to try and score.
Yeah, to the corner.
He should have taken it dribbling into the corner, which you can understand it, but he does hit the post. And
come on, he hits the post. I get it. He hits the post.
But people were saying that, old school mentality, if it was a more experienced player, he probably would have dribbled all the way to the corner.
But naturally, the team should have defended and said,
Yeah.
"Hey guys, we're in
What it
injury
should have
time."
been was, you want to know what that would have been on York? Okay, Adrian, go for a run, try and do something. We're all just going to stand back here, and you try and do something.
Save your energy. Because at the end of that game, those guys are tired. The season's been a long year. They're injured. Like, to win those games, like, it takes like your body is going to places that it probably has never been before in a situation like that, in a place like that. And so, like, you're really summoning extra effort. So to bomb the whole team forward is absolutely ludicrous because, like you said, just send the guy up top for a run and the rest of us are going to chill back here. Yeah, you get your line up a little bit. You're not sitting at the top of the board.
Yeah, like.
But I will say this, and we'll wrap up this Inter-Barca game. I am thankful to this game because I thought about this, and then again, watching some of the post-game stuffs and then clips on Instagram and stuff like that. Thierry Henry, legend, said it really well as well. I've been bored with soccer for the last few years. It's a lot of the same thing. And, even we'll have a technical area episode coming out later next week with Eskandarian from the league office at MLS. We're seeing a lot of the same things all the time. Same teams, same players play the same way. VAR's intervening. The game is stalling. Like, that game is, you mentioned this before, Pena, why we fell in love and why we love football. Like, this happens to us at times where we watch games in all sports and we're like, I feel bad for people who don't like sports. Like, this is the reason we love football. And for better or for worse, I know you're a Barca fan. It hurts the VARs and the overturning and the this and the that. As a neutral, I love the fact that the referee made some mistakes and maybe didn't make some mistakes, because we're here talking about it. It's not a computer that's dictating or an algorithm that's spitting out a result or whatever like that. It's just sheer grit, determination, love, sacrifice. And this is what makes football beautiful. And I think we can get back to that point if we remove VAR a little bit from the equation, not completely. Move it to a coach's challenge system where it's like, hey, you think they made a mistake? Challenge us. You get a certain amount per game. Because now, like, I'm thinking about Thuram, who again was hurt. At one point, it was clearly offside in the second half. This guy's tired. He's hurt. And the AR doesn't put up his flag because he might score, but he's 6 yards offside. Like, it's so clear that he's offside. He doesn't need to do that extra sprint, that extra run, and risk injury. So to me, I'm thankful because this game restored a lot of the love that I have in footy. And I'm really worried about the final because how is it going to live up to this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this to me it'll be a good game.
Yeah.
But this was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
I'm really thankful that this game happened.
Yeah, sure, you're thankful. This is my only Juve comment because you have to watch Juve games every week.
No, it's being a Barca fan, watching them play this year. Like, do we need we need to change the defensive system a little bit, but in terms of the beauty of the sport, Barcelona has played the best footy in the world this year, and PSG. Those are the two best teams. That's why I thought that should have been the actual final. But I'm happy as a Barcelona fan. As crazy as that sounds, we're not going to win a treble now, but the footy that we're playing again is a more modernized version, which I think I've spoken to on the pod already, right? Like, it's not. And again, I like that Barca keeps, like, if it's a Barca team, it'll always be tiki-taka. It'll always be a possession-based team. But I like that Flick has modernized the way that Barca plays.
The German Flick, not the Dutch one, right?
There's more.
Is he German?
Yeah.
Yeah, Flick is German. I was going to correct you, but I didn't want to make it look.
I thought he was Dutch this whole time.
Yeah, it's okay. He loves Dutch.
We don't know why, because there's that goalkeeper coach who's Dutch. He has this, I think, almost the same. It's Hans Flick.
I love gold. I love gold.
Whatever. Hold on, the Germans aren't stubborn either.
Yeah. No, so that's the one thing I'll say, like, just watching Barca, even like we had like literally so many comebacks. We had a Benfica game that we had also in Champions League where we came back and won it at the death. So the games have been awesome. Barcelona has played some amazing footy. The future's obviously bright, as what Lucas said. So we're in the right direction. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season, where we couldn't sign anyone, that Barcelona would have been fighting for a treble in May, I would have told you that you're crazy.
Hold on, couldn't sign anyone. You couldn't register anyone.
You
Let
can't
alone
register a
sign
player.
people.
Yeah. So the fact that Flick took that and almost turned it into a treble is incredible. Obviously, now that we have Lamine, this is what I say about footy. Like, and again, I got some slack from people because it was like, oh, soccer's not one-on-one. Like, why are you talking about Dumfries against Gerard Martin? Why are you talking about Lamine?
Who said that?
Well, they're the games within the
People on
games.
social
Like,
media.
they're the battles within the game.
Listen, guys, I've played at a high level my whole life. I understand that it's a team game, but when you talk about it on a podcast for an hour, you're going to dissect a couple of the individual matchups because if not, the podcast would be pretty vanilla. And in the end, my individual matchups were pretty spot on as both guys killed their counterpart. So it's the game within a game, right? Like,
So quickly, because we got to move on here. Man of the match in that second leg. Summer, Dumfries.
Summer for sure. Although Eric Garcia, guys, that's a worldie of a save, but that's ridiculous from Eric.
Eric Garcia miss is shocking.
It's shocking.
Shoots it back towards the post.
Come on.
And he's
He
coming.
puts it sliding height middle.
Yeah, right at his hands.
You know, if he puts it on the ground there, it's a goal.
If he shoots it anywhere but his hands, it was a goal.
Yeah, still a worldie of a save. I'm not taking anything
He
away.
could have stopped it and dribbled it in the net, probably.
Seriously.
Like, actually could have maybe stopped it and dribbled into the net.
Like that's a fullback finish.
I'm going off the grid here. I'm going left field here for man of the match.
What's yours?
Because to me, it was just clear that this guy was man of the match.
I hope you save that one because Rick has killed us with that for a while.
So the inside joke is Rick, Luca's brother, for those who've been listening to us for a while, massive Inter fan, always accuses Juve of being the cheats and so at one point, it's been years, he came up with this Lance Armstrong in a Juve jersey, and every time there's a cheat accusation or something, he just drops that picture in the group chat. So
and it works.
I've been waiting to get him back with it, and I think this was the opportune time to do
You're
that.
right.
Yeah.
Guys,
we
talked for 46
is
minutes
the VAR
about.
official. That's
We talked for 46 minutes about Inter and.
Okay, let's get on to PSG Arsenal.
Did anyone watch that game?
Still beautiful. Still, both semifinals were amazing, man.
I can't believe that PSG.
All four legs were amazing.
PSG gave Dembele turnover in the.
Yeah, he must have been hurt. He
was recovering from injury.
I'm kidding. They're just like, hey, yeah, this one's wrapped up. Just take the day off and you can play next time.
We're gonna go quick on this semifinal. Apologies to our Gunners and zero PSG fans that we know.
Yeah, we got a lot of Gunners fans.
Zero PSG? There's gotta be one.
No, there's no PSG fans.
I don't know one.
Zay's a PSG fan.
I was gonna say, is Aura a PSG fan?
Yeah,
maybe
no,
the young generation. Maybe
she would be a Saint Etienne fan. I think that's the
Saint Etienne.
Saint Etienne.
Guys, Arsenal unlucky, PSG deserving. What did we make of this second leg here? You get one shot each because we go on tangents. Let Luca go first.
Okay, sorry, Luca.
Yeah, no, okay, yes, Arsenal had more of the ball, more of the play, but PSG was clinical in the final third. Missed some crazy chances. Kvara could have hit the post early, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
In the second leg, I love PSG. I thought they deserved to go on. MVP Donnarumma, he was incredible over two legs. He doesn't get the love sometimes because for some reason he's 7'8" and he's bad on crosses, and they are susceptible on set pieces. And you thought Arsenal would exploit that, being the best set piece team in the world right now, right? But I thought PSG was deserving. I love Doué. I love Kvara. Dembele has been incredible. Fabian Ruiz, who we've watched and we've talked about on the pod before.
What a goal.
Two best fullbacks possibly in the world right now. In Nuno Mendes. And
the Fabian Ruiz goal, quick.
Oh,
that touch. Like,
not even the shot.
For those who don't play soccer, you don't realize how difficult that touch is under pressure at that speed. And then, he gets a little lucky with the deflection, obviously. But that touch is just so beautiful. And people who focus on the strike, he hits it so clean. Yeah, for sure. He hit it perfect.
Yeah.
But that touch is just a thing of beauty.
Because players coming from his blind side.
Yeah.
So he scans so as the ball's traveling to him off the header, he scans the Arsenal player coming, and he knows my touch has to go that way. And he does it because the ball's coming with English too. So he literally does it like so perfectly off his chest. And then you literally see the Arsenal guy just blow by him. Like the first touch was so good. Like I was giggling at that first touch more than the
Yeah.
Pena, a lot to be said, and we've talked about it in the past. Does Arsenal progress if they had a true 9? Like,
dude. I've
that was the difference, I think, over
spoken
the
to
two
my
legs,
Gunners
right?
fans like extensively about this. It's difficult to win in those scenarios where you don't have a reference point in your attack. Arsenal play great footy, possession based. Odegaard, it looks beautiful. Saka's a world class baller, but it's like the back line of PSG needs to fear someone in the box at all times, because you guys know when there's a reference point in the box, it makes the center back pairs nervous all game long. It makes them think all game long. It does. You can say whatever you
Well,
guys
surely
want.
they addressed that this summer.
It
Like,
can even be.
It was injuries, though.
Hey,
But it was injuries, long.
no, but Havertz is not a 9 either.
Okay, but you worry about Havertz at 9.
Havertz is better than what they had, but Havertz is still not a 9.
And,
right? Like,
and Gabriel
I'm saying,
Jesus. Gabriel Jesus is very serviceable. He's a
Yeah,
serviceable.
but he's more a
serviceable.
winger than he is a 9 too. Like, there's not a real 9.
But he's serviceable.
I think, like I've said a lot of the time already, like if you drop in like an Alexander Isak into that Arsenal team, that tie is completely different.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I wouldn't say completely different, but yeah, maybe they get that.
We'll see what they do this summer.
Yeah.
That
But,
tie
hey,
really,
Marino did well considering.
Marino is a good player.
Yeah.
He's a good player, but it's like you're asking him to go up. And listen, PSG's back line was also brilliant. They're not going to get a lot of credit, but like the center back pair was also really good in both legs.
But I get what you're saying, Pena. Like, it's literally just the thought of
the
Haaland being
in
there
the back
for
of a center
90
back's head.
minutes.
Yes, the thought of
It
shit.
changes the way those guys play.
I'm not going to step into a pocket as much as I would, knowing that this guy's playing number 9 today. I'm not going to go and support a holding mid into a pocket because I got to worry about this guy because he's dangerous. There's none of that in Arsenal.
Unless Acerbi's playing.
You can step to Saka. You could commit numbers over to Saka. You can go to Martinelli. You can support Odegaard in a pocket. That all happens because Arsenal has no 9.
Yeah.
Now you drop Isak or you drop the Portuguese guys. Jokic, sorry, not Portuguese guy, Swedish guy. Jokic. You drop Jokic into that game, Marquinhos
He's
and
Swedish?
He's Swedish.
I would probably say he's Dutch again.
Jokic is Swedish but plays for Sporting. So yeah, but again, PSG was the better team. Don't make a mistake about it. PSG's playing also some of the best footy in the world.
Yeah.
So
that's a good segue, because we'll talk about this more in depth next week, I'll say. Or
Why? We can't talk about Odegaard, the Odegaard save, Donnarumma.
Gijo's save on Odegaard is nuts.
It's crazy.
He thought he broke his wrist.
His hand goes all the way backwards because the shot was so hard. He saved it with one hand, just like this.
That save doesn't make sense.
That
Sure,
save is
Gijo's the
nuts.
guy from Game of Thrones, Hodor.
Buddy, that save was delicious.
And then the one on Saka? What about the one on Saka? Somehow that beats Sommer's save on Yamal. The Yamal one's crazy, and then Donnarumma outdoes him with that.
But 3-1 down, Saka in the 6-yard box just skies that, guys.
Then Gijo straight up on a cross.
Yeah, he does.
It's the craziest thing. He cannot goal keep crosses. Like it's like he's the biggest goalie in the world, and he's so bad at judging the goal in the era.
He's Dracula, just afraid of crosses.
Yeah. Like he missed the ball and Saka got an open net. But shot stopping, he's the best. I'll say this. I know you guys are Italians. People would say that you have a bias, but me as a South American, his shot stopping is nuts. Like nuts. Are his feet the best? No. Is he the best on crosses?
Terrible,
No.
actually.
But give me a goalie that makes saves that every save that he's supposed to make, he makes. And then 100 saves that he should never make, he also makes.
Yeah.
So sign me up for a keeper like that.
So super quick, you guys get 2 sentences previewing the final and a super early prediction. PSG Inter in Munich. What is your prediction, and what will be the one difference maker for each team?
Okay. I'm going to say Inter is going to win, because they just got this exact team in the semifinal. Like PSG, Barcelona are very comparable. So they've had the practice of having to deal with the wingers and having to deal with the counters. I think it's going to play out very similar. They're going to defend. PSG's going to have a lot of the ball, and then they're going to try and counter them. So, I mean, I'm just hoping Inter wins. I can't have a PSG Champions League win. Can't have it.
Luca?
9-0. Donnarumma, 10 goals. I gotta go watch it.
And we get 6 Jody Pans in the backyard.
I won't be
Is
going.
Rick actually allowing you guys in touch in the
Yeah,
backyard?
he
Because
is.
last time
But he
didn't
might be
work out so
going, he
well.
said.
Last time
Guys,
didn't work out
I
so
can't
well.
believe I'm on air. Am I allowed to say on air? Yes, we're on air. I can't believe I'm on air saying that, but he's been a really good brother when Juve has been in the finals. I have to say that. Remember Juve, Real Madrid when Mandzukic scores the crazy goal?
Yeah.
Like, he was a wicked brother. So
Are you going there cheering for Inter?
I'm not going there cheering for PSG. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Okay, is that fine?
So are you going for the choripan and the chimichurri?
100% because Rick makes the best. Eh?
Is
Well,
there-
second best.
Is
goes
Christmas
Seb
tie a
Gallucci,
possibility?
Seb Gallucci, Rick Forno, right?
Is a Christmas tie a possibility? Can I
I would
sign up for
love
that?
that. Bane is back
That'd
again.
be awesome.
Yeah.
If Dark Knight Rises, Bane comes
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, and every other team gets sick, but Juve wins it somehow. I don't know, but you know what? Listen,
Crashing this plane with no survivors.
it's a beautiful finals. I would have taken any of the teams in the semis in the final, and that's nice to see because last year, like, come on, get real. What do we have? Real Madrid, which deserved, and Borussia, right? Was it Borussia?
The Dutch team, Borussia.
Borussia, the Dutch team, and come on, who wants that? Like, this is beautiful. Two amazing teams. Pena, go in about why PSG's in the finals because Mbappe is what?
Am I allowed to use the dreaded C word? But I mean, Mbappe's a cancer, clearly. Like, come on. Can you imagine if PSG wins the Champions League this year after they brought Mbappe everyone to win? Like Neymar, Messi, like that guy had everyone come in to try and help him win. And now he finally leaves. They replace him, and now they might win the Champions League.
It's crazy.
What's Mbappe doing right now in Madrid thinking PSG might win Champions League?
I don't think he cares all that much.
You don't
No,
think so?
get out of here, Lums. He
Come
could
on.
have been the king.
Lons, he's thinking about it.
PSG.
Listen, and he may also go trophyless. Like, he may not win La Liga, Copa, Champions League, and PSG is going to do a treble. Could you imagine? A treble, Lums.
I'll say this.
0, and your former team wins a treble. He's thinking about it.
I'll say this. Stat of the Champions League. I think PSG has eliminated, somebody fact check this, but PSG has eliminated every Premier League team
Every
that
Premier
they
League.
faced in the Champions League this year. And Luis Enrique was like,
Farmers League.
Farmers League. And I was like,
He didn't
buddy,
say
it's
that.
still a Farmers
he
League.
did.
Oh, he said about his league.
Yeah, I said, buddy, it's still a Farmers League because
Yeah.
your team is a Premier League team on a Premier League payroll just in France. So the
100%.
league is still a Farmers
Who
League.
did they eliminate? Liverpool, Arsenal. Oh, Aston Villa.
Aston Villa, too, yeah.
Is that who they eliminated?
I think so. No. Did they?
I don't know. I just saw the stat.
Yeah, so, but listen,
But it must be nice, Pena. Barcelona guy in the finals.
we know PSG is an amazing team. It's the fact that they haven't been playing any competitive games in the league. They can rest all their players to go play Champions League. Because if Barcelona didn't have to play 120 minutes against Madrid the previous weekend, we would have probably no injuries. But unfortunately,
Yeah.
we
That's
have to play
part of,
all our titles.
That's
So
part of.
if Barcelona was playing in the French league, I'm sure Barcelona would have been better suited to play that tie, right? So
but both of them, Inter and Barca, right?
Inter
They're
and
both
Barca.
going for their league.
And
And
I was going to say this last week if we recorded. Like, it sucks. It really sucks. And this is part of, I guess, what's making football a little bit boring. There's too many games. We talk about it all the time. Like, it needs to change. We know money makes the world go round, but there's too many games. Nobody wants to get to the Champions League final, and no disrespect to Taremi and Correa, and watch them because Lautaro's fighting for Serie A and Champions League, and he can't rest during the week. Like, something
because he's been
be
playing
done.
3 games for the last 2 months.
This is the
3 games
biggest
a week.
stage at the biggest point of the year in the month of May, And we potentially, thank God we didn't, we potentially had to watch Taremi go at it, and Pena, you could tell us who from Barca would have been on the field if they didn't sort out their injuries.
Yeah.
But that's not why we watch soccer. We want to watch the best players in the best games.
Like we just watched a Champions League semifinal without the Golden Boot of Spain. Right? Like, I mean, again, I'm not being crybaby, but
That's fair.
We just played 2 ties without the Golden Boot of Spain because he got a soft tissue injury because he played 1 million games in 1 month.
Yeah.
So that's where footy is right now. We played without Bonsley over 2 legs, and we had to play a kid that barely played. Like something needs to be done because, like we're saying, you want that semifinal being all 11 starters against all 11 starters, and they're all healthy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like the cup games have to happen earlier. Maybe I was just thinking that, like, why can't the cup games happen earlier in the year? Like, as opposed to, like,
that's
why is Barcelona and
interesting.
Madrid playing a Copa final the weekend prior to Champions League semis?
Yeah.
Like, come on, like, just
Yeah, I
make
don't
it
know.
earlier.
I got only one half volley hot take for you this week because we're at time here, guys. We're jumping on the viral trend here. 100 humans
Oh
or
God.
1 gorilla.
I answered this already.
We got it on the Esky pod next week too, but I want Pena's take on it.
Can I pick the 100 people, or is it just 100 randos? Like,
You can
am I
pick
allowed
the
to
one.
pick the
You can
100
pick the
men?
100 people.
I can pick the 100 men.
I don't. I'm not in charge of this viral trend, but I'm making a decision
Okay, so
right now.
if I can pick the 100 men, the 100 men's a lock. But if it's just like you pluck
lock.
100, a lock.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But if it's just 100 people plucked out of like the general public, then the gorilla's a lock. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like if
it's
it's
like,
us,
I'm talking
if it's
about
us, we're all
Like,
good.
if it's us 3 with Franco would tap out and be in his car.
Just running away. Just running away.
There would be 77 people out of the 100 that would just sprint away the opposite side. And then us 3 idiots there just getting our necks sliced.
Franco just calling. I gotta go to a birthday party.
Yeah, sorry guys.
I had a birthday party.
Sorry, I haven't had cake yet, so I can't fight the gorilla. Yeah. So that would be Franco.
But could you imagine Francis Ngannou with?
So that's what I'm saying. Like John Bones Jones,
Yeah.
Francis Ngannou, like
Guys,
Mike
hold
Tyson
on.
in his prime, like
We're talking a full-grown adult male.
adult
gorilla.
male gorilla protecting his baby. Yes.
There's zero chance.
No.
That
What are you talking
gorilla.
about? Could you imagine Adesanya just comes and just?
Can you imagine 100 like of the UFC fighters just storming the gorilla at once?
I would say
The
30,
gorilla's gonna go like this. He's gonna
No.
flick him away.
34 people are dying.
Yes. No. You have to attack all 100 at once. You can't go in like
No, you can't do the fives. Can't do the
Yeah.
fives.
because if you attack in fives, everyone's dead.
Dead.
Everyone's dead.
Dead.
Because the gorilla would just do a Marcelo Caposolo punch. Just 4 guys, 1 punch. Just like this. 4 guys gone.
Like a sprinkler. Just
Hey,
a sprinkler.
End the pod on that story. Go tell everybody that story and that inside joke, and then the pod's done for the week.
So Capo, a legend, great player, great friend. I don't know, like he's obviously been in a couple fights, which I'm sure he'll attest to it.
Yeah.
But he's a good teammate. He protects his teammates always. He's an amazing teammate. So the minute one of his star players gets hit, Capo's the first guy in line there to.
He's always got your back.
He's always got a teammate's back. So that's one thing about Capo that he's fantastic. So I don't know what happened, but Branco, who's our buddy, somehow heard that Capo Solo got in a Spanish league fight and he knocked out 4 guys with 1 punch.
One punch.
So this is like the inside joke that we have in the group now, that somehow Capo Solo knocked out 4 guys with 1 punch. So
He's
the way
the
that we
gorilla.
envision it,
Capo is the gorilla.
so the way that we envision it, it would have been a sprinkler punch. Like he would have just come through, and 4 guys would have lined up their chins for him to just hit them with 1 punch.
All right.
Yeah, so that's the inside joke. Capozolo knocked out 4 guys with 1 single punch.
Brax has a ton of stories that we always call him out on. He's
The
a
kicker,
legend,
the
yeah.
kicker who flew in.
Yeah.
We'll save that one for the next one.
That's true, but regardless.
Guys, thanks so much for joining today, and thanks for tuning in to all of our listeners out there. As always, this is Fantasy Poolies Footy Show. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, drop a like, send it to a friend. You know, all we're trying to do here is have fun and grow this footy community.
Hey, we have this. Am I gonna give this away? We don't know what it is yet, though.
We have a giveaway?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do a giveaway coming up. Lookout is gonna give us some TFC tickets, donate some TFC tickets.
Ooh.
Villaggio Restaurant.
Weepa.
Shout out Barb's hooked us up with a
Barb's,
gift
they're
card.
great.
Wow.
So we got a nice giveaway coming up. You could take your special little someone to dinner. Okay. As always, this is Lams, Luca, and Pena. Until next time. Next week, technical area with Aleko Eskandarian, Vice President of Player Relations at Major League Soccer, former MLS Cup winner, MLS Cup MVP. Make sure you catch it. Hopefully, some technical difficulties with the recording. So hoping to have it to you by Monday of next week. Until next time, this is Fantasy Poolies Footy Show.